What I wanted to talk about was if you think that talking about money and trying to build wealth and stuff like that is one of those taboo conversations like politics, and you don't talk about it with people, you're kind of stuck in a negative programming aspect. I was talking to a friend of mine right now, and I can only imagine how well he's doing. Right now he's got 40 houses in escrow. 4 of them are mine, which is fantastic. And you can kind of assume how much money that is associated with just the deals that are in escrow right now. And we were talking about how it's almost necessary to start purging people from your life. Like if you want to build wealth for yourself and you want to become wealthy, but everybody around you said, hey, we don't talk about money. Well, why don't we talk about money? Because your mom said we don't talk about money? Because your dad said we don't talk about money? Because some dumbass somewhere way down the road that has been unable to create any kind of generational wealth for themselves said you don't talk about money? You got to really start thinking about this. When I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, we were even talking about purging the people, not hanging out with anybody, period, that isn't open to talk about wealth and trying to figure out ways to build wealth. One of the things that it's almost perceived by people that it's dishonorable to talk about money. It's dishonorable to talk about how to build wealth. And I would say that it's dishonorable to shut people down from talking about money. It's dishonorable for you to sit there and blame or somebody to sit there and blame that person over there that has wealth for them not creating wealth themselves. It's a very lazy, it's a very, you're ultimately disrespecting yourself, and you're disrespecting your own potential when you do that. We all know, it's just such a common thing, maybe we don't all know, that the 5 people, whatever 5 people that you hang around with the most, you're going to roughly be within 20% of that income range, eventually. Maybe you don't start hanging out with wealthy people tomorrow and then all of a sudden you're wealthy. You have to learn, you have to pay. This is the thing that I think the big misunderstanding is with wealthy people, they have to sit there and diligently think about what the next step is. What do I do here to make this happen? And then what do I do here to make this happen? And consistently all the time thinking about, how can I restructure this? How can I do this? What do I need to learn? How much do I need to learn and apply to be able to create a substantial amount of wealth for myself? Or even slowly start building and stepping up the ladder, creating layer on layer on layer on layer on layer to eventually being wealthy. Because I'll tell you right now, your 401k is not going to get you there. You think it is, employees tell you it is, it's not going to. Unless you're putting every bit of your paycheck into your 401k right now, which you can't even do because you can only contribute up to $18,000 a year. Think about that one. Anyways, but there's so many more vehicles out there that most people aren't even aware of. If you have any questions whatsoever, or you want to come into my world where I'm at right now and see exactly the stuff that I'm talking about, direct message me. Let's have a conversation. And the funny thing about it is that we have this massive friends list on the MechanismMindset side and my side of Facebook. Not a lot of people inquire about anything. The funny thing is, it's the people off the advertisements that go way beyond all those other people that are curious about actually building wealth. So if you're looking at me and going, oh, I can't do that, I can't get to Alan's level, and I assure you that I'm not at any high level right now. My goal is to have a net worth of $1 million by the end of 2020, be at net zero debt by the end of this month. It's actually probably going to happen within the next, not the end of this month, end of this year. It's actually going to happen probably within the next couple months. Just to kind of get you a perspective of how fast this can start moving for you. What do you think, Zach?
Well, when you brought the topic up, I kind of immediately, like I always do, I kind of just started thinking about jiu-jitsu, and it's like, you don't walk into the gym and just want a black belt, right?
Right.
You got to actually do the steps. You got to start hanging around with black belts. You got to start training with black belts. You got to start, I mean, even blue belt, because I guess that's kind of more the first step towards the black belt, but you got to train with the blue belts. You can't just keep rolling with all the white belts if you want your blue belt.
Well, you could actually you could keep rolling with all the white belts if you want to just keep being a white belt.
Yeah. So if you want to be a blue belt, you got to train with the blue belts. You got to keep moving with the blue belts. You want to be a black belt, you got to roll with black belts. You got to learn from the black belts. And that's the same thing with wealth. If you're just not talking about it, not doing it, not putting any effort into getting towards that, it's not going to happen for you. So if you think of it as a taboo, or if you thought, to me it was like, I want my black belt, but the gym's a taboo. You know? It's like, if you stay away from it, you're never going to...
Yeah.
It's just common sense to me, really, but...
And it's interesting when you talk about the belts, so this is one of the ways it's been presented to me as well. Like, even in like the real estate world, there's certain levels, so there's like level 1 through 10. I mean, this is like arbitrary number, level 1 through 10. Mm-hmm. Where I came in, I started as a 1. I needed to get around 2s in order to get to a 2 level. Now I needed to get around 3s to get at a 3 level. Now I need to be around 5 so I can get to the 5 level. And the interesting thing about it is there's a lot of people that'll spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on real estate seminars. And I learned that 1 out of 50 people actually succeed at it. And there's a lot of real estate investors as well are lucky if they do one deal inside their first year. I have done 6 so far. And the reason I've done 6 is because I look at that next level person that I need to be around, and they influence me. I was talking to my friend yesterday, and he was explaining to me how he has another friend that he hangs out with, and they're talking about compounded interest and how they move this money over here, how you kind of manipulate your money to be tax-free in the real estate world, all this and all this, and just not higher levels, but their discussions were on a much, much higher level. He said that a friend of his is so far out of reach that in order for him to get to his level, he hopes to be at his level in 10 years. And this comes from a guy that's super high level, in my opinion. And so you just kind of think about it like that. And the thing about it is it becomes so inspiring. Like, instead of just going to work every day and just punch your clock, drink your coffee, eat your donut, get through the day, go home, crack a beer, kick the dog. I don't know what you're doing. Love the dog, lick the dog's face. I don't know what you do. Over and over and over again, what does that get you? It gets you the same thing over and over and over again. Whereas if you're brave enough and to stop blaming other people for your lack of integrity and your lack of willingness to do anything to move yourself forward, and you actually take responsibility for it yourself and go, I need to learn this. And then all you do is watch 10-minute YouTube videos and apply something, and you know it. Or you reach out to a guy like me and I start teaching you. I'd love to bring people into my team. I would love to be able to scale where I teach you how to acquire properties. I take the property from you and I split the money with you. I mean, and we could be talking about anywhere from $1,000 deal to a $10,000 deal. Just to kind of put it in perspective, which is largely more than real estate agents make, which people don't realize. Real estate agents are kind of on the slow end of real estate. And it's interesting how people don't realize, like, a real estate agent's ability is like right about here, but they went through all this other stuff to do it. Actually, it's probably more expensive to become a real estate investor than it is an agent. And then when you look at what a wholesaler can do, or somebody in an investment world can do, it's freaking light years ahead of what an agent is. So it's funny when I approach people to buy their house from, are you an agent? Like that's like the honorable thing. And like me being an investor is a dishonorable thing. It's because people don't know. If you want to learn, hit me up. You got to be diligent. You can't just come up and go like, oh yeah, I want to learn how to be a real estate investor, and then that's it. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of diligence. Like I literally in my campaigns, when I come in and I filter out and find the people that I'm actually talking to, I call it filter the fuck yous, because it's a lot of fuck yous. Filter, fuck, like 100 fuck yous to one person that I can even have a conversation and get a buy appointment with. And I don't even necessarily buy the house at that point in time. So the reality of it is you have to find that person that you want to be at that level. Or you find out what industry you want to be. Maybe it's not real estate. Maybe right now we're in 3 different arenas. Well, I'm in three different arenas. He's in one of them right now. There's so many different ways to build wealth that you don't have to sit there and be not pigeonholed on thinking that you can't do it, or you have to work your 9 to 5. You have to collect your $50 a year for the next however many years before you become your Walmart greeter of retirement, because that's what you're going towards, whether you like it or not.
Sure. The other point to that is really back to kind of the belt thing, is very few people get to that blue belt level. And actually I saw a post on Facebook that was actually talking about getting your black belt or getting good at jiu-jitsu. The only thing you have to do is not quit. And pretty much everyone, there's a high turnover rate in the gym. You know that, and that's kind of the same thing in probably the real estate world, and that's why only 1 out of 50 people actually make it. Because you're gonna get beat up. That's gonna happen. That's the first thing they tell you in jiu-jitsu. You're gonna tap, get used to it. You're gonna take some lumps, bruises. I'm sure you did when you started real estate. Quite a few.
Still am, yeah.
Probably
it's
still
just
am,
part
yeah.
of it. It's part of it, yeah.
But whatever avenue of wealth you're chasing, or whatever avenue of success, you're gonna get beat up. It's just reality. And you just gotta keep moving forward, not quitting, finding ways around that. What was it that you posted yesterday or something about a immovable force?
Yeah,
immovable object.
Yeah, so this is funny because Jason was the one that told me about this. So an immovable object to an unstoppable force becomes nothing but a speed bump.
Yeah. That's just, you guys got to keep that force going and keep moving.
So the MechanismMindset LLC company is in the process right now. Articles of incorporation went in and everything. We had a meeting the other day, and largely what we were just talking about is what we have in place right now and what we plan on market and everything else might fizzle out. There's a possibility that it fizzles out, and I want everybody to be prepared for that possibility. But all we do, honestly, is if the product does fizzle out, or if something doesn't work out with it, all we do is continue to adjust. Continue to adjust. That's just the way it is. You could, and I had another guy I was talking to yesterday that's working in the field, had somebody come up and talk a bunch of crap to him that he doesn't hustle, and it was just because that person walks up and sees this one little snapshot of this guy's day and talks a bunch of shit because he's an insecure person. It's what happens. A lot of that happens in construction. In the field, actually, a lot of it happens a lot. I'm glad I'm out. Anyways, the thing about it is like he could decide to have to continue to deal with that from now until he retires, because it's going to continue to happen. Or he could start working on, I didn't have this discussion with him, but this is kind of the way I see it. Or he could start working on what's the next step to create wealth. What's the next little thin layer of tape that I needed to apply. The next little thin layer of tape that I need to apply after I get that. The next little thin layer of tape that I need to apply after I get that. And just to put it in perspective, I'm functioning at a pretty decent level right now in the real estate world. I purchased a $3,000 program. I have to learn the program, and then I have another application that I need in order to market better, more correctly, and I have to learn that software as well. This year alone, I've probably learned 12 different software programs, where like most people like think, okay, well, I know this one software program and my job functions around this, and I just have like no interest in applying and learning something that's not going to create me wealth at the end. So just to put it in perspective, I'm not even like a gunslinger. I just know that I have to add that layer. I have to add another layer. I have to add another layer, and whatever that is, I have to learn it, or I have to apply it, or I have to purchase it. You have to reinvest. You have to continue to grow. And how do you do that? How do you go from $200,000 worth of debt to net zero fast, net zero, and then $1 million wealth in 18 months? Well, you apply everything that you can possibly apply. I don't even have any doubt in my mind that I'm going to reach the level that I need to. I probably am not setting my goal high enough, actually, because once you get a good vehicle in place, and you can see the wealth that can be created from the vehicle, and also at the same time your ability to scale, it starts coming more and more into focus what you actually can achieve. So all I'm saying is you have to get started. You have to move forward somewhere. You can't watch a video like that and go this and go like, that's interesting. I wish I was wealthy. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. And I hope you take some value from this. I hope it really helps you out. I hope I get the gears turning on this. And honestly, I just hope you guys have a great day. Finished with that?
You gotta step in the gym.
You gotta go to the gym.
You gotta just step in the gym. Like, that's the only way you're gonna get to where you wanna, whatever it is, whatever avenue. I say the gym, but whatever avenue of wealth you're chasing, or whatever you think you're good at, or whatever you want to do to make you happy, you just gotta keep moving at it. Don't quit. That's the secret right there. Don't quit. That's where everyone fails, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Never quit. That's the biggest mistake. I was watching Pat Bet David. He said, he was going through the 10 biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make. And he said and he got down to the number one. He's like, the number one, absolutely number one biggest mistake that any entrepreneur can ever make, are you ready for this? Is they quit. That's the biggest mistake that you could ever make. Because you're going to get beat up, you're going to get discouraged, you're going to get doors slammed in your face, you're going to get people telling you to F off, F yourself, die, hang yourself. Like, dude, I should create like a collage of like some of the messages I get, some of the voicemails I get, but it's part of it. And the reality of it is the way I see it, people like go, well, I don't have a for sale sign on my house. Why are you even bother asking me if I can buy my house? And it's like, well, how would I know that you're not willing, that you don't want to sell your house if I don't come and ask you? I think about it like counting cars. Like that guy, he drives around, finds cars, and he walks up and he's like, yeah, I just have to ask, would you possibly sell this car? So I approach it all like that. And people get offended by you asking them if you can buy their house, but how would you know? It doesn't hurt to ask. And a lot of times that's the way I do it. I knock on a door, I'm like, hey, I just have to ask, have you ever thought about selling this house? And you know what? Half the people are like, yeah, actually I have thought about it. And maybe we'll start putting some more videos together about the real estate aspect, but just starting out right now, stop living in a box where you sit here and go, I'm F that wealthy guy over there. Screw him. He's the reason that I'm not wealthy. That's not true. You're being disrespectful to yourself. You're being disrespectful to your own potential. And honestly, that's a really dishonorable perspective. What an honorable perspective would be is there's a book out there called The Go-Giver. And the whole premise of the book is do everything you can for everybody around you as selflessly as possible, and it all comes back to you. And literally in the real estate world right now, I have several friends that are completely, total 100% go-givers and give me everything that every resource, every piece of information, anything. And I try to be as very pointed with my questions, and don't waste anybody's time. That's really important, to not waste people's time, because they'll get tired of you really fast. But he gives me every resource that's associated with him. Like he's got a couple different businesses, and he's like, yeah, just treat her as an assistant, as your own personal assistant. My wife, she calls me up and she's like, whatever you need from me, just treat me as your own personal assistant. I will take care of it. And and the thing about it is that's great is from his mentorship has helped me get the confidence and land not the jobs, but land the deals that I'm landing. And to be honest with you, he's making quite a bit of money off of the deals that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. A lot of money, for that matter. And it makes it very, very clear to me that the more people that I help, I'm doing the honorable thing by talking about wealth with you, helping you build wealth for yourself, and in turn, it ultimately creates wealth for me. How is that not a great, fantastic model to live by, rather than live in a world where, like, you go talk at the water cooler and everybody hates everybody else in an environment that just sucks the soul out of you every single day? You know, see the flip side of all this. And I can, at any point in time, if this guy right here turns out to be a shady, shifty piece of shit, I completely dissect him from my life. Mm-hmm. He's gone. I don't have to ever talk to that guy again. And the funny thing about it is I have ran across some shady people. I have had somebody try to close a deal for me, so I had an agreement with them where I would split whatever the proceeds were of the deal 50-50 with this guy. I find the deal, he comes in, closes the deal, helps me finish out the deal. He closes the deal with the seller, closes the deal at the end with escrow and all that, and we split. I was like, that's a good thing. I come in, I watch this guy negotiate in front of me. He lies to the guy like 4 different times, confirms that he was lying to the guy inside the same conversation, and I'm really detail-oriented with what I'm paying attention to, because I'm a bullshit sniffer. I've always been a bullshit sniffer, and I think a lot of people that are watching this are probably bullshit sniffers. I'm sitting here watching this guy, and he lost the deal. I would have had the deal. I was buying the house at like 97.5, and I would have made like 10 grand on it. He comes in and tries to be greedy and tries to buy it at 68 and pressuring this guy to try to sign the contract. And what it made me realize, I completely disassociated myself with the guy. What it made me realize, though, is if this guy comes on a buy appointment before I show up for the buy appointment, I'm getting the deal. If this guy comes in after me, after I show up, I'm getting the deal. It made me have such a higher level of confidence with my ability to come in authentic, be truthful, be direct, and I still don't move my number. I still don't negotiate. The number one rule to negotiations is you don't negotiate. I go in there with my number and I don't move. And I get deals. And I feel good about myself, and I help people in the process and make a lot of money doing it. It's fantastic. You'll just step into whatever world that you want to step into. Maybe it's real estate, maybe it's not. Maybe there's something else. I would love to build a team of people that want to acquire houses. I'd love to teach you processes of negotiation, talking to people, knocking on doors, reaching out to people, cold calling, anything and everything that I've learned to this point. And I'm a solid 3 out of 10 right now. I would love to show you everything that I know in order for you to succeed, because ultimately it's going to make me succeed. And then at the same time, I'm going to be super freaking stoked that I helped you get to another level in your life. it's so rewarding. It's not even. I wish I would have started doing this 10 years ago. That's my biggest regret right now. Like, anyways, have a good day, guys.